labyrinth swallowed all. Innocents were stranded, sinister drowned in the depths, the damned vanished there. The great power was lost to man. Mother Earth turned her back to the new world. Only the cursed king on his throne in the abyss remembers that golden age. Hello, and welcome to Etrian Odyssey 1, the very first game in the series, of a very niche but a very fun series to me. Now, as I have played these games in the original DS versions, you're probably wondering why I'm playing the HD remakes. Simply put, they're much easier to get recording footage of these days for me, because I don't have a 3DS capture card, and buying one these days in 2023 sounds like absolute pure pain. Because it is. Hopefully the audio is totally fine. Let me do one quick little second here. And we'll start a new game. After changing language settings, characters entered by the player may not display properly. Text will display properly upon changing back to the original language. But that is for English, which is the language we'll be using for this. Picnic is the game's most basic difficulty. I believe you come back and can retry fights as much as possible. The enemies also do a lot less damage, and I think I have a lot less HP too. Basically, if you just want to play the game and just experience it, if you just want to move on to the other games, this is probably what you would do. Basic is a little bit easier. That's not nearly as bad as Expert. We'll go over the main differences here. As far as I'm aware of, this is just like the game basically tones things down that got a little excessive in the original game. Expert, I think this is basically the equivalent of what it was in the Untold games, which basically did a full basic remastering of the very first two games to an extent. Unfortunately, I can't play those because same issue, having a capture card in the year 2023 for the DS is a little bit difficult. As much as I would like to play the Untold games, I do have the version for the second game, but I don't have the first one, and getting a physical copy of both of them would be, once again, purely painful. Expert mode is the game's original difficulty from the DS era. And yes, I do own the original DS games. I'll probably show them on here on the screen at some point. Well, probably about this point, so hopefully future me will remember to even do that. This difficulty is for those who've enjoyed previous Etrian Odyssey titles or who love a challenge. The difficulty can be changed during the game through the options menu while in town. Starting the game in expert difficulty. Proceed. Yes. One day, in the small, isolated town of Etria, an underground forest was discovered. The Rada, governors of Etria, issued a proclamation throughout the continent. Any able-bodied adventurer was invited to investigate the forest and explore its depths. But no matter how many came to investigate the dungeon, none gained the renown they sought. As more adventurers tried and failed to conquer it, it came to be known by a new name, the Yggdrasil Labyrinth. You are the latest adventurer to journey to Etria in response to the Rada's proclamation. You have but one goal: explore the forest to win fame and fortune. Etria is at hand. Verta Plaza in Etria. Test your strength at the Explorers Guild. Haven't seen you before. I'll take you. Trying to check out the Yggdrasil Labyrinth? And welcome, friend. Not many guilds lately are hitting new adventurers. Other short-sighted losers care too much about your rifles to do any real investigation. You got the guts. You should make a guild entirely for newcomers. There are loads of guys just sitting on their thumbs who join any guild I take them. How about it? You gotta make a guild? Yes. Great. Then let's get started. Write down what you want to call your guild in this ledger. Someday the world will know this name, so think carefully before choosing it. Please choose a guild name. I actually thought of this beforehand. So, in a lot of things, I usually put in Vesperia in reference to one of my favorite games, Tales of Vesperia. I love the game there, so we'll do a playthrough of that game eventually. I really want to, and it will be probably the Switch version, mostly because it has all the additional content. I'll probably play that in Japanese dialogue because of a thing, but that's not the point. Anyways, so for the guild name, we're going to go with... I think this is how you spell it. Zephyr. Kind of a wind-based thing, I think, if I remember correctly. So go with Zephyr. Zephyr, huh? Not a bad name. And you got a guild. You'll need to fit adventures to fill it. Of course, you can go to the labyrinth yourself. You got the stones. Then register your name as a member. More adventures mean more options open to you, and less chances of dying down there. Think about it for a while, and make you register a variety of classes in your guild. Yes, so that is a very good idea to actually register a decent amount. So, we'll go over the classes and then I'll make them all here. The Launch Neck. Basically the equivalent of Final Fantasy games. This is the warrior class. A solid fighter for front lines. Usually can handle things and decently tanky. They're not the most tanky thing, but they can still take a hit or two without too much of an issue. Masters of the Sword and Axe. Launch Necks can bear a wide range of weapons and armor in close combat. Balance Warriors of the front line. Survivalist. The fleet-footed warriors and wise in the ways of the forest. Their bow skills make them desirable allies. Yeah, it says they're useful in either line. They're the backline. These are... bows in this game are incredibly good. Seriously, no. It's insane how bows are in this game. I'm actually going to lower the decibels on this a little bit. Just to make sure this is a little bit better. Sorry. I don't know why this does it, but it does do that. I'm going to lower it a little more. Sorry for that. Survivalists, in my opinion, are a major DPS class in this game. This is where survivalists are the best in the series, bar none. But yeah. Now, they have a lot of very good things. I'll go over the skills here later. Anyways, next up is Protector. Blood Defenders of the Weak. A Protector's sword and shield are valuable tools when in dungeon. Best used as frontline warriors. They're the tank. They are the ones that want to suck up all the damage as much as possible. If there's a thing that needs to be protected, they can do that. They also are pretty good at dealing melee damage too, but obviously nowhere near as good as Launch Neck or anything like that. That's not really their focus. Dark Hunters. Pinpoint lashes of their whips can weaken opponents. Use their skills wisely to turn the tides of battles. Best used in the front. These are more debuffers kind of things, and status alimenters. That's kind of what their main things is. Their most prominent things are things called binds, which basically either stops enemies' agility and allows you to get free hits, while having them move last in a turn, which is very important. Binding their head is basically the equivalent of a silence, which can be incredibly good. Basically, any magic is basically they just can't do anything. Are their arms, which allows them to not use some of their physical skills. Once again, this stuff can really be potent in the fight, if planned right. And they also can do things like poison, paralysis, and other nasty things like that. Personally, they're not my favorite class in this game, but I can use them at times. Anyways, up next is the Medic, unskilled in battle. That's a lie, by the way. Their healing arts allow experienced warriors to survive difficult battles. They use their healing gifts from the back. First of all, that first line, complete lie. They are skilled in fights. Just not immediately. That's the best way to put it. I just realized I peaked the microphone a little bit. Sorry about that. As of right now, they are not the absolute powerhouses that they are, but they get something later on that allows them to basically hit about as hard as Launch Necks. It's kind of crazy. Next up is the Alchemist. The simplest way to put it, they are black mages. Medics are white mages. Well, more like clerics in Dungeons and Dragons, if you want a better equivalent. They more heal and then use physical attacks when applicable. Alchemist is more of the black mage. They're the ones going to be casting spells on it. Those who study the control of nature. Their powers of fire, ice, and lightning is at the command. For the back, of course, these guys are definitely better if you were struggling in the beginning of the game, because they can hit ailment, weaknesses, and whatnot that really can help thin crowds out and all that. That's kind of where I feel like they're best. And there's also some things that they just can do a lot better. And finally, that we can have available right now is the Troubadour. Lively dancers and singers who inspire the party. Their support is always welcome in combat. They're able to work in either line. They actually can either use swords or bows. So if you want them to be a little more up front and personal, you can have them be swords. They're pretty versatile, actually. They're more buffers. That's really their main job, is to buff the party. They can also use bows, so you'll probably be using with bows if they're not doing buffs on the party. But that's a basic idea of each class in the game. That's a real rough explanation, just to give you an idea. But yeah. So, give me 1 second and let me make the party. Alright, now that we are back, let's make our own party. Alright, so I'll kind of go over the names here. Actually, no, I don't really have any reason for any of the names. Essentially, they are names I just randomly generated or just came up with on the spot. I did this beforehand, so I actually knew what I was doing here. So, we'll get everything started here in a second. I'll go over the classes I picked, and I actually do recommend this for first time playing as well, because I think it's the best balance in the first game at least. That's everything. You're ready to get started. I hope you can shake things up in this town and clear out some of the deadwood. I'm looking forward to the day Zephyr Guild becomes known the world over. Alright, so let's go over each of the characters. In the stats menu, you can see party members, stats, equipment, and skills. Alright, so I went with a launch neck to start. This here is... So yeah, you can see the name. So this is Soul. I made him the launch neck. Basically, I went also with a protector under the name Leo. Once again, just kind of seemed fitting for me. Next up, a survivalist. Like I said, survivalists are very good in this game, so I definitely recommend one of these, if nothing else. Basically, yeah, I'll go over kind of what I plan to do with the characters early on and then kind of go from there. Of course, you have to have someone to keep yourself alive, so we have to have a medic. And I went with Janice in one of the newer artwork pieces. There's a weird combination of older artwork from like the original games, and then they added a couple, so keep in mind for that. And then lastly, Stardrop, who I made a Troubadour. I don't know, I saw this name and I was like, ooh, this sounds fun. And definitely a Troubadour-like name. Alright. Let's go to Rada Hall. No soliciting. This is Rada Hall, home of Etrian's governing body. I assume, newcomers, that you are en route to investigate the forest. However, we don't recognize just anyone who managed to throw together a guild. If you wish to become licensed adventurers, first complete the mission we give you. A new mission is available! Alright, so we accept the Adventurer's Initiation. Your mission is to create a map of the first floor of the labyrinth as an initiation. Those who cannot accomplish this elementary task are better off staying out into the forest. Explore the first floor and map everything you see there. This method will be useful later. There's a small map to start you off with. Fill in the rest of the details as best you can. Have you attained the labyrinth map? Now, go to the forest and get the details from the soldier on the first floor. Yes. But first, we should actually fully prepare. So let's go over kind of a little bit of everything here. So anyways, the Rooster Inn is where you go and sleep and all. Welcome to the Rooster Inn. We cater adventures to explore the forest. Please make yourself at home. There won't be a whole lot from them. Basically, you can sleep or nap. It heals you fully no matter what. And you can also save your game. In the original DS version, this was the only place you could save. So we're just gonna save here. Yeah, I know. I don't mind that. We'll just save in the final slot over here. But anyways, just keep that in mind. It also acts as a storage to the Chef Apothecary. Students, welcome. Welcome to Etrian. He stands town's apothecary, where we heal the wounded and fallen. We offer medicines to take with you, and as prevention, we're kind of cure. You're worried in the forest. Come back if you're wounded in the forest. Come back here. We'll do everything we can for you. So basically, you can buy medicines and you can revive people here. This does have quality of life functions later on to make this a little less necessary. And this guy kind of gets molded into other places later on in the series, and for good reason. Next up is Shalakia's Goods. This is the store you're going to be here a lot. Oh, need items? Weapons? Equipment? I'm again. Hey, it's good I hear about with the only new folk? Morzak, you are my best customers. I'm so sorry, I don't know how to do this voice here. I look forward to doing business with you. You can sell items obtained in the labyrinth and buy goods created from them. When purchasing, your party members are shown you can switch between characters. That's actually a nice quality of life function that they added from the previous game, from the other games. Each function is useful. Alright, so before we go in, we should definitely prepare here. So for weapons, you probably should buy things that would help you out the most. An easy to use hand axe. We'll see what I want to do with this. I think I can... But anyways. As you can kind of see, we have very basic weaponry, nothing too fancy just yet. You can also buy other important things. So for Protector, you definitely want to buy something. You want to buy a shield for him no matter what. And for the launch next, you want to buy a shield too. As you can kind of see in the middle of the screen, it used to be on the edge of the screen because this was a DS game, remember that. So the bottom screen used to be what was on the right, and the top screen was what was on the left in this context. It changes up a lot. Just to give you kind of an idea, this was made for the DS, and it's trying to do its best. This first episode is going to be kind of long with a lot of explanations. Sorry. That's what we can do here. Let's see here. My opinion, definitely get the characters that need the defense most in the front. I recommend focusing on them first, because they're going to be taking most of the damage here. And I should buy a bow for both my survivalists, because that's where their main skills and potency comes from. And we're going to give one to the troubadour. That one's less important, but we'll be needing it here. Alright, let me sell some stuff here. Okay, since I have nothing else to sell, got a little more money back. A method you could do to get a little bit of extra money is make a bunch of adventurers and then just take off their equipment, because they all come with a knife and tweed, and then sell it. And then remove the adventurer. That gives you about 20 intel, which is the game's currency. If you wanted to do that, you could do that. I don't recommend that. I'm thinking if I want to go for an axe or not for the launch net. It's kind of tempting. Okay. Yeah, I won't be doing this too often. Like I said, this is just give you kind of an idea of what you're looking at here. Alright, and then there's also some basic accessories, nothing too important there. If I had enough, I would go for the hatchet, but I don't, so I'm gonna go away from that for now. Alright. Golden Deer Pub we'll go to later, as you won't be able to do anything there anyways. Anyways, let's go into the forest now. You know, like a little past 15 minutes in. Anyways, all you can do is enter the labyrinth. The first stratum, Emerald Grove. The first hope-filled step. So anyways, pressing the Y button switches between the perspective of having the map and the viewpoints from side to side. Or if you just want to do it like this, where you just have the map in the corner, you can do it like that. So anyways, items, you can use any of your items, any valuables, just basically looking at stuff. Skills menus, stuff you can use outside of combat. Currently we don't have anything, but we'll change that here in a few seconds here. Equipment, you can adjust your equipments. Obviously, some characters for their skills need to have certain pieces of equipment. Protector needs a shield, for example, and survivalists need a bow. Just basic ideas here. Anyways, to give your character skills, you need to go to custom. In the custom menu, you can spend skill points to learn new skills. In this game, for each level you earn only one skill point. Use them wisely, either to strengthen existing skills or to learn new ones. So, Launchneck, like I said, is very much a warrior character. Nothing too crazy here to kind of look at here. My opinion, I forgot. So, generally for Launchnecks, I do put them on sword. And then I just kind of mostly focus on swords. I really don't focus anything else with them. So, do that. We'll get them Cleaver, as that's going to be their main damaging move for things like bosses and whatnot, but I need to up them for later. Basically, Cleaver and Tornado are going to be the only real skills I'm going to give them. I'm going to give them these Blazer, Freezer, and Shocker skills, give myself some elemental properties, but it's not the biggest priority, so there'll probably be other things. Attack up I'm going to do for Warcry and Hellcry. Lower defense and HP for much stronger attacks. Generally, that's what you want to do for Launchnecks. They have their one goal: deal a lot of damage. Protectors are very important with what they want as a whole. Eventually, a lot of the people go for Smite as a whole. I generally don't. In this game, you can kind of see how far you need to go. Oh, they actually made that way better than I thought. Okay. But for early on, we're going to go Shield Mastery, give ourselves front and rear guard. We're going to put one level in front guard. Actually, hold up. The more points you put into things, the more it costs, but it also does make the skill much better too in the process. I'm going to eventually go for Defender, as this is a pretty important skill in my opinion for Protectors to have. I generally make my Protector more like defensive focused. So I'm going to put 2 points in front guard to start. Let's see. Some of these are really not that good. Like, Protectors can heal, but you have a medic. Don't bother. So, since you can't really get all the skill points in the game to, fill out every entire thing here, you got to pick and choose pretty carefully here. Survivalist, honestly, if you see the top up here, there's very little reason to go for anything else, but True Shot, it's a stronger skill, but you want multi-hit. Multi-hit is insanely good, and this is pretty much the skill I'm going to go for and immediately try to max out very quickly. The Survivalist wants this very quickly. If you want them to be pretty much the offensive version, there's another benefit to Survivalist, which are these skills at the bottom here. We'll get to those later. Medic, we'll just put one in. And we'll put 2 points in there. Now, one big thing that I know is different in the remake is the skill called Healing Touch. This skill used to be extremely bad. It was a joke. You didn't use it. In this game, they buffed it like crazy. It's so good now. I mean, there's a point where you kind of see where it's like, you don't really need too much. You get like all these healing like skills that are really good. Immunize is really good. So, I mean, like very high resistances to every element is insanely good. Caduceus, this is why medics can kind of do everything if you choose to have them do that. This skill is insanely good. And it's kind of busted. Medics are insane in this game. Troubadours need songs, of course. And, oh, right, this is also... forgot to do this. Also, Troubadours are the only characters that give you EXP gains up in the entire game, so if you wanted to go for that, you can, but it takes a lot if you can't tell, and I feel like by the point you get to it, it's kind of like, oh, okay. Let's see here. Okay. My opinion, the most important thing is bravery. or especially early on. I feel like bravery is very useful early on for a troubadour. So anyways, now that we've done that, let's actually explore the map a little bit. The Yggdrasil Labyrinth. One task must be performed before challenging its depths. As you have some skill in adventuring, some 3 skill points should be available to you. Yes, I've already done this. Let's spend them on skills useful in the labyrinth. Open the main menu with X. Select custom to allocate skill points, but think carefully before doing so. You may already be aware of this, in which case, this advice is happily unnecessary. If so, then hesitate no longer to begin your adventure in this lush green forest. Hold on, before you do that, I feel like there's options I'm missing here. Am I playing the original versions of the songs? I feel like there was 2 versions. I thought I was in an orchestra. Give me a second. Okay. Thank you. Alright, okay, never mind. Let's actually explore. As you can see, I've got my movement done. I adjusted my options to make movement a lot faster. You want that. As you walk the narrow path, greeting you all around, you see a soldier standing guard. You must be the new guys. The Rada told me you'd be along. Welcome to the forest. Few questions for the soldiers spring to mind, but you wonder if you should let him be. What's he doing? My orders are to make sure no one, you, for example, gets in the forest without permission. You want in, start the way everyone does. Make a map of the floor we're on. As I'm sure you told back at the Rada, everyone goes through this initiation. With that, the soldier points to the map of the forest you hold in your hands. We'll do a quick little thing. So this is kind of one of the main draws of Etrian Odyssey, as you can map out literally everything in the game if you so choose. So you have a bunch of options here. You can either draw with the mouse or draw with the controller and keyboard. I usually use the mouse when I'm doing this in this version. There are various tools at your disposal. Help you flesh out your map. Yep, drawing, erasing, you can kind of see everything here. Aside from the mouse, you can also draw maps using the controller and keyboard. We'll just kind of go through this. Already get the map. Yep, I already know all this, so nope, we're good. This area inside the red border. Here shows where you've got that map. Finish that part and see me. Alright. You decide to leave the soldier alone. So in this side-by-side view, you can kind of see a little bit of what we're looking at here. The green border is where your normal viewpoint is. So for this first part, we'll show it off like this. Yeah, I've got auto mapping on, so okay, hold up. Let me change that so you can kind of get an idea of what this is. Auto map, we're gonna go with just what it was originally, which was this. So as you can see, one of the benefits, I'll switch to my mouse here real quick. Yep, you can literally draw your map. So if you wanted to do like, I don't know, that, you could. Obviously, we're here to actually draw the map, seriously. You are actually graded on this. First fight to the game, and there's a lot more enemies here than I wanted. Okay. Combat, very simple. You see enemy, point blade at enemy. Enemy goes down, hopefully, before you do. In theory. We're gonna go for 3. Alright, so we got combat on pretty fast, mostly because you're gonna be in a lot of combat, trust me. So, what I do is focus fire. Bravery ups attack power. Not a whole lot, since we are still a little new. Alright, and with that, you got your first fight down. Discover a new monster, Woodfly, and Tree Rat. And we got a small fang. So, for this first part, we'll probably show most of the fights. But yeah. In later parts, we'll only be showing off things like new enemies and whatnot. I feel like that's important to show off. just this obviously just give you kind of an idea of the combat system. Obviously, we want to make sure our allies don't die because they don't get any experience if they die. It's a little rough. So make sure everyone's capped off on health. This is also why I gave the stuff to them early on. Oops. So for the most part, I'll probably have auto mapping on just to make my life a little bit easier. But yeah, this is kind of the fun part of the game, because you can draw out your map if you wanted to. This is obviously it was a less cumbersome thing to do in the DS version. Also, that's incorrect. It keeps going actually. Alright. Like I said, I'll keep the mapping on like this for now, just because I feel it's important to do it. Just to give you an idea what it is. So yeah. So it'll be something like this. And you can also put other things too. You saw all the stuff. Basically, just give you kind of an idea of what everything is. Alright. Ah, crits, yeah! Unfortunately, really early on, you don't have too many options, and the enemies don't have very many options either, so it's mostly just whack them. That's really all there is right now. Pretty vanilla enemies, nothing too crazy. For now, trust me. You'll probably loathe some of the enemies we'll eventually find in this game. They get a little nuts. Alright, I feel like for a general rule for the first area, if you go below like 15 HP, I suggest you probably heal up for your frontliners, because, yeah, as you can tell, they kind of hit you pretty hard. This is, of course, assuming expert mode. So, okay, so we come to this door, we try to open it. A mysterious crystal entwined with ivy blocks your path. It seems you cannot proceed. So, let's put a door on here. I'll just put like a locked door here for now. Like I said, just give you an idea what we're doing here. Whoops. Yeah, like I said. Plan your maps out correctly. Alright. This here is a gathering point. There are 3 types of gathering points in the game. I don't have anything at right now to help me do any of this stuff here. And also, very importantly, there are shortcuts in the labyrinth too. As you walk through the forest, a wall of trees block your progress. Continue onwards. So, very importantly, you can do that. And put these little arrows here to notify... You can kind of put whatever notes you want on the map as well. Ah, moles. My greatest nemesis. Maybe. These guys actually hit pretty decently hard, so we're going to make sure that the front lines are defended. As you can see, that was a good idea. Alright, now fire attack, and nearly lost my defender. Gonna find survival, let's go. Okay. That was risky. I didn't think they would go after my defender like that. Moles. Man. Imagine coming to the forest only having a mole scratch you to death. Couldn't be me! Nope. Alright. I was about to say, so you can still work on the map here. Whoops. I didn't do that. If you wanted to. Yeah. And... Alright, let's get the rest. Oh, there goes my launch knock. Oh, that's unfortunate. I didn't think that would happen so quickly. Alright, well, they get no experience. Oh, and experience in this game is split among the party. So if you get 100 of experience, and you have 5 party members, you'll only get 20. So anyways, reviving, easy. You just have to have the money. They get res with half their HP, so keep that in mind. And sell the very tiny amount of money we have here. Now we're gonna rest up. Okay, so we're just gonna sleep. Just do everything here just as normal. And we'll go back to the forest entrance. And pretend that part didn't happen. Except for the part where my launch neck now has less HP. I mean, less experience than the rest. Whoops. I didn't think it would happen that quickly, honestly. Okay, so this is what I was thinking was this. It's been a while since I've fully played this game, just for the record. As you continue down the path, you find red fruit growing on the walls of trees. Things just within reach seem like daring you to pluck it and take a bite. Consider for a moment whether or not to eat the fruit. Yeah, let's eat the fruit. Its fruit sweet juices slid down Soul's throat. Over 10 HP. Hooray! That was completely unneeded. Oh no, I didn't want to see this already. Alright, well. So remember when I said an alchemist is very useful early on? These types of enemies are the very prime example of why they are very good. Okay, yeah. We're not even gonna bother. Just run from those things. You need an alchemist right now to beat them, or else it's not going to end well. Yeah, I won't be able to beat them for a little bit longer. Like I said, you need an alchemist, and I believe they're weak to ice. So, like, say if you didn't want to use, like, a different type of character, it's like, there you go. That's what you should do. Oops. No. Wow, okay, game. Have fun, launch deck. Oh, that's awkward. Oh, yeah, you can probably see the problem right now of this game. Absolutely wrecking you if it decides to have its way. Oh, that's awkward. Ooh. This is very awkward. Make a run for it, and hopefully I don't die. Don't even try. Alright, well. Oh, you don't get your party members revived. Normally. Okay. So in a situation like this, go to party. Yep. As you saw, if your front line dies, your back line is now your front line. Remember to reform the party. So we'll do that. Head back to what it was originally. Oh boy. So you can see why this game can get a little tricky if this is literally the first floor. Because it can. Alright, let's start upping some things here. Let's see here. Alright, we're going to Cure. Oh, and then my troubadour, since they lived. Oh, and one more into survivalist. I now have multi-hit. Yes, we'll be going for multi-hit very soon. Upping bravery. Any attack boost is going to be very nice right now. The bone staff. Okay, we don't need the bone staff right now. Alright, thankfully there's not too big of a difference for the first floor for knights. There are some enemy differences, but nothing too insane. Yeah, I don't know why this little UI thing's on here like this. It shouldn't be. Alright. Now with hopefully less me absolutely getting pounded, destroyed. Please, that'd be much preferred. Yeah, okay. That's just... Okay, game. Okay, come on. He keeps dying on me. Oh no. I'm going to run out of money. That's really not good. Oh, by the way, I should show. As you can tell, there are multiple physical types attacks too. Just wanted to show that real quick. Yeah, I think as of right now, I'm just gonna have to let my protector be dead. While walking through the narrow trail, you find a trickle of water near the end. The clear, cool water seems extremely tempting after your arduous hike. You hesitate, unsure of whether to stake your thirst or to pass by the water. Put your hand in the water. You reach out and put your hand in the spring water flowing from the rocks. The icy water cools your heated skin. You wonder whether or not you should try a sip or leave without taking action. Let's try it. Cupping your hands in the streams, you bring a sip of water to your lips. Clear, cold water quenches your thirst. Feeling much better after drinking the spring water, you decide to move on. This seems pretty important, so let's put this. You can also notate things with this. Yeah, I don't have my cursor right now, so. Alright. Now after doing that, let's go revive my protector. I'm gonna need a second here. Actually, I'm not gonna risk it. Knew it! Alright, back again. Hopefully without my protector not absolutely biting the dust again on me. Please. Please just let him live. I need him alive. Okay. Thanks, game. Alright, let me just work on this. I'll put on auto mapping back on later. This is just kind of give you the idea, the feel of what it was originally. More rats. More rats. But yeah, if you're not feeling confident, be in the rat. Fight the rats for a little bit. Alright, time to inspect. While walking through the forest, you find something furry at the trail's end. You're initially thinking it's a creature. You lower your guard upon realizing it's a boot. Could it belong to an adventurer? You weigh the options of picking up the dirty boot or leaving it where it lies. Well, let's look around. You thoroughly inspect the area around the boot. A closer look reveals torn clothes and reddish stains on the ground. The sign points to dangerous beasts lurking nearby. Eyeing the boot, you wonder whether picking up is worth whatever danger is in store. Let's leave it alone. You decide to ignore the boot and leave this place. Okay, so you can't do that. So you can see what's there later. obviously we need to go back over to the other area a little bit. So let's go do that. After a quick little heal. My poor protector probably needs the healing. We're getting absolutely destroyed 3 times. Game, come on. This is not the time. Alright, so this goes on for a little bit. So let's just keep going. What's here? You step into a dead end at the forest edge, covered with brush and brambles. An old rucksack, seemingly abandoned by past explorers, lying at your feet. Now let's pick it up. You peer inside the rucksack and find a number of coins inside. Obtain 100 intal. That's the that's the actual pronunciation. Is I believe it's intal. Yeah. At least they're easy to escape from. I think it's based off of your agility stat, I think. So survivalists, once again, are really good at this. Makes sense for what they are. Surviving. As you walk, you reach a clearing filled with blooming flowers. The nameless flowers sway in the wind, and you catch the scent of their fragrance. You contemplate whether to rest and enjoy their sweet smell, or leave immediately. I'm decently fine. You decide to vacate the sweet-smelling clearing at once. Well, not before I map the area out and find them all. Mole is cleared. Alright, let's add the chopping point. And we're doing this as well. Oh, that's not fun. Alright, everyone's at least level 3 now. We'll get to sorting out the experience and points and all that here pretty soon. We're nearly done. I just kind of wish I had a little bit of TP for the last bit this, but actually it won't matter. Alright, no, he does that. Okay. As you can see, we've got the entire area that he wanted marked out that we could get to. We obviously can't get past the door. I'm going to go up and heal. Don't mind how long that took. That was very messy. Normally I don't have that problem. As you stride through the forest, you meet the soldier still guarding his post. He notices your presence. He hails you cheerfully. Got your map all in order, have you? In that case, you've got my permission to proceed. The soldier stands to one side and waves you through, as if passing the torch to you. You ought to report your success to the Rana, but the thought of going deeper is also tempting. But first, we've got rats. Alright, let's go back and report our success. Whenever you got a mission completed, hit report results, and then all I have to do is hit complete. You'll notice it's completed because the scroll is scrolled up. We've received word from our soldier that you've completed your map. Well done. We acknowledge and recognize your status as true explorers from this point on. You belong to Zipper Guild, correct? Let me give you the standard reward. Take this to Shilika's goods. She'll sell you items necessary for your adventures. Stock up there and work hard to explore the labyrinth for us from here on out. You obtained a Rada note. 500 intel. Alright, let's head over. Talk. Oh yeah, that reminds me. You get permission for Rada? Doing that, I wanted to sell you all my goods, but I promised Rada Hall I'd stick by it. This here's the Iridane thread. This used to be called warp wire, by the way. If y'all lost or about to die, use this to warp out of the labyrinth. Hata, let me take some before they leave drip down the labyrinth. Don't go thinking they're free. How many do you want? So, she is correct. They do cost a bit of money. Early on, I generally take one. Later on, I suggest you actually get a lot more. I suggest like 2 or 3. But now that we have a little bit of money to play with, well, for now. But now with a little bit of extra money, I'll probably take some time to equip more and focus more on what we got left here. But that was only the first floor, and that wasn't even everything on the first floor. What else to explore? So next episode, we'll be exploring the rest of the first floor and starting our journey into the second floor. I'm going to take some time to equip my party here and up the skill points as necessary. Actually, you know what? We're going to do that. I have some skill points. Let's up them. I already kind of know what I'm going to do for most of this. It's going to be upping some skills here. We're going to finally get multi-hit. Oh, or never mind. Let's see here. We want Sal, by the way. As you can see, very useful. We're going for this pretty quickly. And that should be all the skill points. So, now with all that handled, let's take a rest at the Rooster Inn. And next time we'll be exploring the rest of the first floor. What dangers will find me on the first floor? Will I find more crabs? And will my protector live for 5 seconds? Find out next time in Etrian Odyssey 1. This is Last J saying, see you guys later and have a nice day. Bye-bye!